You ever had a client ask, does Medicare pay for my blood glucose monitor? Does it pay for my insulin? And you might have froze for half a second because you weren't exactly sure. Well, this is a very similar question, so I'm glad this got asked. And then as a cherry on top about commissions, let's do a Medicare probably 6 or 7 minute and dive right into it. This is Ann Saul, and I'll see you in a second. The easiest way to break this down, I think, is to consider you have two buckets, right? You've got your first bucket that we're going to call the Part B bucket, and that's going to be insulin pumps, blood glucose monitors, and the insulin that goes into that pump. This would all be treated as durable medical equipment. And the second type of bucket, you've got the Part D bucket. Now, we're also talking about insulin, but instead of being in the pump, this is insulin that would be injected through a pen or a syringe. This would be prescriptions to deal with diabetes, like maybe metformin, Januvia, or an insulin that's in pill form. That would fall in that second bucket, that Part D bucket. Now, when the problem comes in is when someone is prescribed something like an Omnipod, because an Omnipod, even though it may appear as though it's durable medical equipment, it's not. It's not ran through Part B. Part B would reject it and Medicare would deny that claim. It's ran through Part D, assuming you have a assuming you have a Part D carrier that's going to pay for that Omnipod. So when we're talking about how Medicare covers CGMs, how it covers insulin, how it covers the durable medical equipment, really there's a few identifying factors. The first would be, what type of pump is it? Is it a durable pump that's meant to last, or is it a disposable pump? And then what about the insulin? Because the insulin has to be matched to the pump type that it's going in. Okay, now there are some big misconceptions though that you will run into as we continue down this whole insulin talk or how durable medical equipment works. First would be this: people see usually in an ad on television or they hear it on the radio or online that insulin has been capped at $35 a month, and they assume that applies to, hey, every type of insulin. However, that usually refers to Part D as in dog insulin only that you're getting at the pharmacy. If the insulin is being billed through Part B as in boy, because it's used in a Part B covered pump, it's not going to be the same lane as what you're filling under Part D as in dog. So if you have a client who's getting their Part B insulin, their insulin through Part B, if they're on traditional Medicare or Medigap, well, depending on that Medigap, like a plan N or G, after your Part B deductible, it's going to pick up the entirety of that cost. If they're on an MA, they're responsible, usually a typical MA, for 20%. So you may see members at a pharmacy, their claim get rejected and they panic, but the real issue is it's the wrong part of Medicare that's being billed. Let's talk CGMs now, because that's another one that seems to confuse people. So a CGM can be covered by Medicare in the DME Part B world if that person meets Medicare's coverage criteria. As an agent, probably the cleanest way to explain it to a member would be something like this. If Medicare covers your continuous glucose monitor, your CGM, it's usually because it's being treated as durable medical equipment, not some random over-the-counter gadget that you got to test your A1C level. So as a member or as an agent, obviously our job is not to diagnose someone, it's to ask the right questions to our members. Is your CGM being covered under Part B as DME, or who is the supplier? Let me give you an example. How's this? So we'll talk about durable pumps. Your client has a traditional durable insulin pump. So they're on Medicare already, or they're aging into it, and they've got a traditional durable insulin pump. Their insulin then that the physician is writing them as a prescription is specifically for that pump. So Medicare then treats the pump and the insulin under Part B durable medical equipment. If the pharmacy tries to run it through Part D, it will be denied because Medicare says, nope, this is the wrong payer. That would be Part B's territory. We'll use another example. Your member or your client has a disposable pump, like an Omnipod. So your client uses an Omnipod. Medicare Part B doesn't cover disposable pumps almost exclusively. So now we're looking at the Part D lane for coverage potentially. So both of those clients could say, hey, I'm on insulin with a pump, and Medicare would treat it differently based on the specifics of their diagnosis and what type of pump and insulin they're using. But remember, this is a distinction between durable pumps and disposable pumps. You can find it in Medicare's authorization examples. The best cheat sheet you could remember, always ask 3 questions. What type of pump is it? Is it durable or is it disposable? is the insulin being used in the pump? And this is what they should ask their pharmacy. Will this be billed through Part B, durable medical equipment, or Part D pharmacy? The fastest way to cause a nightmare isn't just picking the wrong plan, right? It's choosing the wrong path and then you being responsible for the bill or it getting denied and not to be paid. I had a member one time who was on a Plan F with a pump insulin in the pump, and he was paying out of pocket for it because he was running it through Part D. Somehow it was getting filled. We moved it to Part B. Sure enough, his Medigap covered 100% of everything traditional Medicare, didn't pay for that insulin. So that was a mega savings for him. All right, so let's briefly touch on your last question. What's the easiest way to navigate commissions from different carriers? Here's my answer. You're probably not going to like it. No idea. Every carrier is different. How they pay is different. When they pay is different. Bonuses come out at different times. Overrides, if you got an agency, come out at different times. So there is no one size fits all that I am aware of for how to track your commissions from each carrier. However, you should get good at it. At worst, you should have an Excel file open where you're tracking policies that you wrote, what you expected to be paid, when you expect to be paid, as well as what you were paid. That would be my encouragement to you, and hope it worked.